what I want to do right now, when I get into myths versus facts, it's something that we do every week here on Tear Up with Dr. G. What I do is I say a statement. It's either going to be a myth or a fact, and my panelist is going to say either myth or fact, and then they're going to give us their interpretation of why it's a myth or a fact. We're going to kind of keep this moving a little bit. I like a little rapid fire, but it's all good. There are right and wrong answers sometimes, and sometimes I'm not trying to stump my panel. Most of the time they're either myth or fact, it's true, but sometimes there might be a little gray zone, and it's okay to talk about it because we're having a conversation, we're having real talk about bullying. And so what I want to do is do real talk about bullying, myths versus facts. Here we go, Dr. Johnson, here's a statement. Since Dr. Johnson's been on my show many times, she's a pro at myths versus facts. So here we go, here's a statement. I like this one. Bullying is just a stage, a normal part of life. I went through it and my kids will too.
Yeah, no.
Pretty much.
That's no.
That's a true.
Yeah, I mean it is true that like a lot of us have experienced it. It is true that there are going to be times in your life where people are not going to be so kind to you. But it's not just a normal thing. So one of the things we all often talk about in sort of building that resilience, right, is not just being like, well, suck it up, buttercup, that's the way it is, right? Like you want to acknowledge and understand and have compassion for the way that your kids are feeling. And also, okay, that doesn't mean that's where it ends, right? Like, yes, this is terrible, and I'm sorry you feel so hurt, and I'm sorry that your friend did this to you, and, just really kind of validating that emotion. And, not but, and, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to help empower you? Who are we going to talk to? Who are we going to pull into your team? How are we going to do this? Because, yes, this, often life is awful, and we deal with it, right? And so that's one of the, like I said, it's sort of an opportunity to help kids learn how to deal with it. However, just the that's the way it is, it's never helpful.
I used to resign myself to well, that's how it is when I used to go to my grandparents' house in Philadelphia, and I would see kind of the false teeth that my grandmother had. And I said, well, I'm just going to resign myself to the fact that when I get older, I'm going to have fake teeth. And then it's like, oh, wait, I can do something about it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make fun of the situation or anything, but it's like there's opportunity. It's like I can brush my teeth and I won't have to get false teeth. Mm-hmm. And so, but there's opportunities to get engaged now, and better to have early engagement than not. Very well. Thanks, Dr. Johnson. Here's the statement, Dr. Kohler. If you have done everything you can to resolve a bullying situation and nothing has worked, or if someone is in immediate danger, there are ways to help.
Yes.
Please explain.
I think that's just all the things we've been talking about is if the kid is at school and it's happening right then and there, to look for the closest adult, go down to the guidance office, again, avoiding those places where it's more common, that the bullying's happen, or talk to your parents about it. Even a friend sometimes, because a lot of the times, and you can verify this, but friends can go with to the social worker's office if they don't want to go by themselves. So even having a friend do that.
Excellent, thank you for
and just there is a point at which it becomes criminal, right? So there are times when we do need to get, if there is somebody in imminent danger, we do need to get the police involved. We do need to get the authorities involved. We haven't talked a whole lot about cyberbullying, but that's a whole other world of, things that are out on the internet, and there are points at which that can actually be a felony. So, if there's, stuff going on that isn't imminent, someone's in imminent danger, there is an imminent risk, you absolutely can go to the authorities.
Thank you. Kim, here we go. Myth or fact? Research shows that bullying will stop when adults in authority and peers get involved.
That is true.
Please explain.
So once kids see that adults are going to do something and they know that this is going to be stopped and it's going to be addressed, it diminishes.
All right, thank you. Here we go, Dr. Johnson, myth or fact? I think we touched this earlier, but let's touch it again. People are born bullies.
Nope. Again, there are people that are maybe more predisposed to it, but no, sorry, there is no bullying gene that we've identified so far.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kohler, here's a statement. Myth or fact? Quote, just stand up for yourself and hit them back, end quote.
False.
Please explain.
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that. I just think that's going to make matters worse. And then it's really just now turning you into a bully, and most likely going against kind of your natural values, which is then could create anxiety and depression and other sorts of problems too when you're not behaving in the way that you view yourself.
Excellent, and there are definitely ways to resolve potential conflict without violence.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure, again, that students out there have the ability to go seek out the appropriate authority without fear of retribution. Thank you. Here we go. Kim, I like this one. Bullying is a school problem. I'm picking on you because you're in the school
Oh,
district.
thanks.
Here you go. Here's a statement. Bullying is a school problem, so the teachers should handle it.
It is a school problem, however, we cannot be the only ones addressing it. We need parents, we are a team. We cannot do it ourselves.
Thank you. So that's a myth?
Yeah.
I'm just challenging you.
Kind of like a yes and. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in the middle. Okay, yes,
Yeah.
but or yes and.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here we go, Dr. Johnson. I think let's do a
Okay.
couple more of these.
I enjoy when you start with, I like this one.
I know, I do like
That's
this one.
gonna
I'm
be a
thinking
good
that
one,
I like
yeah.
this is gonna be a good
Yeah.
one. I like this one. Here we go. Dr. Johnson. Boys report more physical forms of bullying. Girls tend to bully in indirect ways such as gossiping and excluding.
That is true to the best of my
Hey,
knowledge.
please explain.
And I think it's partly conditioned, right? Like I think we expect our boys to be more physical. I think it's also more acceptable for them to report something physical, something very concrete, versus like, you know, somebody making them feel bad. Like I think boys are unfortunately conditioned in our society to have more of that suck it up buttercup kind of mentality. And so they're not going to acknowledge that as readily. Girls, on the other hand, are conditioned to be kind of the mean girls, right? They're
Okay.
conditioned to do kind of more of the exclusion, to do more of the gossiping. However, yes and, that certainly doesn't mean that it doesn't happen the other way around,
Very
right?
well.
Like absolutely girls get physically bullied, absolutely boys get emotionally bullied. It's just that we hear a little bit more about those things that we're more socially ready to hear.
All right, thank you. Here we go, Dr. Kohler. Here's a statement, myth or fact. Bullies have little empathy for their victims and show little remorse about bullying.
Typically, yes, that is true.
Please explain.
I think a big portion of it is kind of what we've talked about before with, you know, the bully could possibly, you know, have an unfortunate life at home or can have their own anxiety or don't know how to communicate with other people. And so then this bullying comes out. So they're really not aware of what's happening with the other person because they're just trying to figure out their own stuff and manage their own stuff, that sometimes they're not even fully aware of the effects that this is doing on another person.
Thank you for clarifying. All right, here we go. We'll do this last one. Kim, get this one for here it is. Here's a statement, the final myth or fact. It is healthy to continue sending your child into an environment where he or she will be bullied.
We have talked about
Yeah.
that.
Please,
So,
give me an answer.
gray.
Yeah,
Gray zone,
gray
yeah,
is the
yeah.
answer.
So yes, we don't want to send our kids into some place that we know that they're going to get hurt potentially, but we don't want to not teach them how to cope and how to process and how to handle and work through things. So again, yes, but we're not going to teach them how to avoid. We need to address the situation and address it.
Thank you very much. So there you go, myth versus facts. So we got about 5 minutes left. We talked about the